Wait, you're telling me that American toilets are different than our European 10 out of 10 toilets? I don't believe it. How can toilets be different? Just look at the image. It's just a normal toilet like in Germany. But maybe I'm wrong. So let's find out why American toilets are different. Let's go.
Years after moving to America, I still don't fully trust the toilets. Not because of anything they've done, but because of what they look like they're about to do.
What?
I mean, look at that. Back in Britain, if the water
wait.
gets that high, you call a person called Dave to come and sort it out.
That's a lot of
I
area.
actually don't need a plumber. I'm just using this moment to film myself on the phone. Today's video is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Thank you, and I might call you later for some genuine help. In America, Dave would come at you with a plunger for wasting his time.
And that's because on American toilets, the resting water level is this high.
Yeah, look how much surface area this is. In Germany, the water would be here at this level and not have here this kind of area. In some old houses, some old toilets, of course, you have also a big surface area, but not at the front, but rather in the back here.
On purpose.
So, why are American toilets
So deep, man.
Well, in this video, I'm going to answer that question, and if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you something that you've waited your whole life for. My verdict on which country has better toilets. So if this type of content is right up your alley and you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, do that now. In the meantime, to find out why American toilets are so different, I think you have to understand that they're not alone.
You see, from a plumbing perspective, everything about American bathrooms confused me when I first moved here.
And it wasn't just the toilets. Take bathtubs, for example.
Looks
Can
normal.
anybody explain to me why British bathtubs are slightly above floor level, but American bathtubs aren't in general? Good guess, but no, it's not because Americans don't like exercise. The reason is this.
Because a lot of British houses are quite a bit older than American ones, they weren't built with bath plumbing in mind. To resolve this, most British houses raise up the tub to make way for the piping and U-bend underneath. A
The same in Germany.
setup that remains more straightforward than retrofitting modern-day piping. In America, where 60% of all houses were built after the turn of the 20th century, houses were largely built with bathtubs in mind. Instead of housing the piping directly underneath the
Oh,
tub, the
interesting.
pipes instead penetrate the floor, meaning there's no need to raise up the tub.
And then there's the taps, or as they're sometimes known in America, the faucets. Why, I asked myself in 2024, do American sinks only have one of these? The reason that I ask is that where I grew up in Britain, most sinks had two separate faucets, one for hot and one
Not in Germany. Maybe in the UK, but not in
for
Germany.
cold.
In the US, hot and cold water runs from something called a mixer tap. So
that's
what's
normal.
going on with America? Well, it turns out that much of the rest of the world is with America on this one. And
Yeah.
the question should actually be, what's going on with Britain?
This quirk, which is often remarked upon by tourists from across the globe, was introduced to British kitchens and bathrooms in an effort to avoid contamination.
You see, both the hot and cold water in most British homes come from different locations. The cold from a main supply, the hot from a cistern upstairs or in the attic.
So, historically, the taps were separated in large part to stop hot water merging with cold water, which people relied on for hydration.
But in 2024, virtually all American sinks feature mixer taps, the benefits of which are felt when washing your hands, because they
Yeah.
allow you to do so without burning or freezing them off.
Glad to see that my new phone service doesn't have the same. So now that we've established that Britain and America have different approaches to plumbing, does this extend to the toilet itself?
Okay. Sorry, I need to go back. Oh my god, why? Why is the toilet paper facing the wall? This is wrong. It should be on the other side. This is unbelievably wrong. And I hope this is not normal in America. I just hope that he is a toilet paper weirdo because no one does this. No one.
Does this extend to the toilet itself? And the answer to that is yes.
In short, American toilets use something called a siphonic system. This kind of toilet uses a complex S-shaped trapway to pull waste out of the bowl using a powerful vacuum suction, rather than relying solely on gravity. Because of this, the high water level of American toilets is needed to rapidly fill the trapway and trigger the vacuum.
Ooh, okay.
Meanwhile, British toilets
Oh,
use what is
interesting.
known as a washdown system. What's that, Lawrence? A washdown system does use gravity and a powerful surge of water to push the payload. Payload's just what I call it.
Yeah, that's also in Germany. I think this is a siphon.
British toilets also have wider and shorter trapways and have no need of a vacuum suction.
Not
Plus,
always,
knowing us, we'd
not
probably call it a
always.
Hoover suction.
But one of the downsides to this system is that the British flush is noticeably more audible, meaning British toilet goers have to endure 2 loud noises instead of 1. Meanwhile, a huge pro is that the shorter and wider trapway means that your toilet's less likely to get blocked.
In fact, in the 26 years I lived in England, I don't really recall ever personally using a plunger. And if you're American and that
Never.
surprises you, wait until you hear this. British bathrooms don't usually have one.
For Americans who've long since accepted that unclogging is just a part of life, a plunger is a feature of most US bathrooms. Come on, you bastard.
Really?
I'll be honest, during my first few weeks in the country, I missed the toilets of Britain. Even the ones where you have to pay. Nothing about American toilets endeared me to them whatsoever. In fact, if I could have legally ran for president, I would have based my whole campaign around this single issue.
But there came a time, and I don't know when this was, that some of my British biases faded, and I started seeing American toilets in a new light, a light that could be summoned by a switch on the inside.
For clarification, electrical safety regulations prevent this in the UK, where either the switch is mounted outside the room,
Or the light is operated by one of these, a non-conductive pull cord.
Oh,
that is made out
interesting.
of string. Anyway, my light bulb.
The light switch is also outside in Germany, but we do have outlets inside the bathroom.
Moment was this. American siphonic toilets do a better job of neutralising the after effects of the mother load, unless I've had a crave case. Now, an award for good odour might feel like an unearned participation trophy for some Americans who might, for example, live with my wife's cousin Chad. But there's science to back up what I'm saying. Basically, the large volume of water absorbs much of the smell before it becomes airborne, prompting 17 of you to post the same joke about how even American flatulence is lost in the pond. But more than that, the American way does a better job of getting rid of, how can I put this politely? I can't. Skid marks. Happy birthday to
No,
you.
what? Why?
Jesus, Chad. Happy birthday
Shouldn't there be more?
to you. Just like
Because of the big
a
area.
plate from your late night Indian meal, it cleans more easily if you soak it first.
and so just as Americans have accepted a life of plunging, Brits have done the same with keeping the door closed for 30 minutes afterward.
Which brings us to the elephant in the room, the one thing that British people have been thinking while watching this video. But what about splashback? Well, when it comes to siphonic toilets, it's a fair question and one I never imagined answering in front of hundreds of thousands of people. That said,
To me, splashback is the greatest threat to American butts since the Matterhorn ride at Disneyland. I mean, other politicians are afraid to say it. They'll talk about the housing crisis. They'll ignore the fact that the biggest crisis of all is happening inside our houses.
this is day 33 of tensing my muscles and hoping for the best. That's why I'm running for president in 2008, because this country needs a leader that won't put his arse on the line. It's not often I look back with pride at my younger self, and videos like this are the reason why. That is to say, my position on splashback has evolved since then, and for good reason. In all the years that I've lived in America, I can't remember one critical case of splashback, which just goes to show
Wait,
that
how?
things are not always.
So deep, man.
In the meantime, Tommy has
Oh,
written
wait a minute. Maybe it's because the water level is higher. So the payload hasn't time to increase the velocity.
a new track, which will shortly lend emotional gravitas to my final verdict. British or American toilets?
German ones. Germans, come on.
Listen, both countries have put forward a strong case. British toilets have a lovable sense of character, and American toilets have lots of character but make no sense. But there can only be one winner.
Do I pick the toilets that barely ever get blocked, safe in the knowledge I'll never need to use a snake, which is something Americans turn to frequently if the plunger isn't doing it? I should clarify that's not an actual snake, but a long piece of spiky plastic. Or do I go with the toilets that are more odor-friendly, that require just 18 minutes of door closure?
It's a bathroom. There will be always a stinky smell, so I don't care about if it's less stinky. But the fact that you have to unclog your toilet more is a deal breaker.
Well, I thought long and hard about this, and it might be because America is my current home, but I'd have to give the nod to American toilets, but only because
Of
I no
course,
longer have
yeah.
cats.
Yeah, of course, makes sense. You live there, you are happy there, which makes sense. And I need to say that I love my German toilet. It just makes sense. It hasn't this big area, it doesn't clog, it's always clean. I have no idea why there should be more dirty marks. But to be honest, I have never experienced an American toilet, so I can only speak from the point of view of a German. If you like my American content, please give me a like and a follow, and I will see you later, alligator. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye bye.